And our facilities committee has been called to order today at 3:30. And, excuse me, welcome, happy holidays.
Thank you.
First of all, did everybody have a chance to read through the packet?
Yes.
And would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion.
Okay, and second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Abstaining.
Okay.
You know
One
why.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to welcome all the new members, but first I'd like you to kind of introduce yourselves, and if you could tell us a little bit about yourselves, which would be great. So Chris, would you like to
Yeah.
start?
Chris Joyce, moved here about, I think, 11, 12 years ago from the West Coast, originally from Maine, northern Maine, right on the Canadian border, and happy to be on this committee.
Happy to have you. Happy to have you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Heath Eldridge, born and raised here in Harwich, and have always been impressed with what this facility has offered the community, and I'm excited to be part of continuing that tradition.
Awesome. So welcome to the both of you.
Thank you.
And would any of our other members like to say anything before we go on?
No?
I am excited to have you. I've been able to work with both of you in different capacities, so it is a joy to have you on the Facilities Committee, and thank you for stepping up for the community.
Yes. Welcome aboard. We're thrilled.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll go over to a report from the Council on Aging. Ralph?
Oh, there is so much to say. I don't know where to begin. First of all, I've had a very successful Thanksgiving luncheon and delivery of packages and so on. The next things coming up are the Christmas gift for seniors program. We are encouraging the community, if you will, to donate money or packages that we can distribute to seniors in need who don't have any family or whatever and can use some cheer. There is an offer of a cape, what they're calling a cape bag for the upcoming season that includes flashlight, pill case, emergency whistle, deck of cards, puzzle book in case you have to go to a shelter. Hopefully that doesn't happen to any of us, but the Santa Claus for seniors, we need the any gifts or contributions by December 15th, which is a week or so away. There is a cookie swap on December 18, which I will not be participating in, being the gourmet cook that I am. But that's a very nice operation when everybody brings their favorite cookies, and there are some good cookies around. I've had a few, so, and they're distributed to other folks and exchanging. Couple of things I want to mention. That the men's breakfast took place today. It was very good. We had an attorney speaking about the Fourth and Fifth Amendment and all kinds of information and discussion about what to do if a cop stops you for DOI or otherwise, what you should do and what you shouldn't do, what you don't have to do, and so on. And that's coming up in 2 weeks for the ladies' luncheon, which I hope would be well attended as well. It's a very interesting subject, well presented. There is a holiday lunch, winter holiday lunch here on December 20, prime rib, would you believe, with lots of sides. Again, people need to sign up prior to.
I think it's sold out, Ralph.
It's sold out already?
If I heard correctly, in 12 minutes.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Prime rib.
Prime
this
rib,
is-
why not? Yeah.
And I'll give a little plug for Friends of the Council on Aging. We agreed to pay for the prime rib.
Yeah, right.
And then I also heard then the wait list, you know, they're going to host a lunch for the wait list people in January.
Oh, good. Okay.
nice.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for all that you do too for the council.
And the other thing is the new Council on Aging news will be out in another couple of weeks. And again, we're encouraging folks that do not get that to check in and get it by mail. So it's got a lot of information. Other than that, that's about
That's
it.
great. You've done a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know Van is out right now, but did he send any
did
information
not.
or anything? Okay, so we'll wait till next meeting and get an update on the recreation department. Okay, now we're over to Carolyn, old business.
Sure. Inside your packet, I sent you out the draft, and I made it in big letters so you'd all know. This is just the draft budget. I did put the narrative with it prior to showing you the figures for the year. The narrative is pretty self-explanatory. We were given a budget message, as you all know, and in order to come close to that budget message, we were instructed to put things that we would need to increase in an extension of service budget. As you all know, because I say it so much, 75% of the community center budget, I think it's 74 this year, but 75% is the heat, light, and water for the building. Those line items were not increased. They need to be increased, but those line items are projected to be up approximately 10%. That would come from the finance department who sent out that memo. If I increase that by 10%, you can imagine what our overall budget will look like. Therefore, I have put it in the extension of services as was requested by the town administrator. I do believe that we will get the increases that we need to have the heat and light and have water in the building. I think that they're all pretty self-explanatory. The other parts of our budget are things like the trash removal, some maintenance repairs that we do, getting inspections on our kitchen hoods and things like that. I say it all the time, there's really no place to cut in this budget. There's no fluff in it, there's no, we'll tell you anything you want to know, it's an open book. It looks like a big number because heating a building of this size, if you think of your own homes, takes a little bit, the lights on and things like that. But, so I just wanted to explain the narrative. I do go through it all the time, and I apologize because I know you all know it, but the 73 to 5%, whichever it is, that number, and I'm only saying 73 to 75 is because those numbers did not increase, but the other ones did. So when we get the increase in, it will be, I believe, over 75% this year. But just to be transparent, it is currently at, I think, 73 or 74%.
Where in the budget would you find the inspection stuff for the?
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll go through
just-
them for you.
Oh, no, you don't have to, if everybody else knows.
If there's no, I don't know if everyone does. So if you're looking at the budget page, the first section of it is exactly what it says. That is our staffing. We have myself and 2 other full-time benefited positions. So there are 3 full-time benefited positions. There is 1 part-time position, 19 hours a week. And the things that come with that are the longevity and sick buyback. Those are all contractual. The 3 full-time employees are all in a union, so they have benefits. So those are reflected in that line item budget. Anyone else that you see working around here is under 19 hours a week, and they are in our revolving fund, which is the money that's paid for our weight room and things like that. So those people are taking care of the weight room. They don't exceed their 19 hours. We have 1 gentleman who works 7 hours, just 1 shift. We have another one who works 12. So it's not, it looks like a lot of staff some days, but we're very,
Lean.
very lean, so.
Who are the 3 full-time?
Myself, Reagan is full-time, and Samantha at the front desk.
Oh, okay. And who's the part-time at 19 hours?
Well, it currently today, as we're taping,
Right.
is Carrie Lottie. She will be retiring on the 14th of this month.
Oh,
So
okay.
after that, Kim Fernandez, who is currently a revolving fund employee, will be stepping up to that position.
To do
So,
what?
She'll be the part-time position, and that is, she's gonna open the building Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. She's here at 6 in the morning, bless her. And she works 19 hours doing that. So she's checking people in, doing room reservations,
Oh, good.
starting the day off, so,
Working at the front desk.
yes. The community center, as you all know, we are open from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Mondays, 6 a.m. until 9 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and 8 to 4 on Saturdays. So
No Sundays?
everyone needs a day of rest.
I withdraw the question.
Thank you. So then if you go to the next portion, electric,
Yeah.
gas, and water, all very self-explanatory. The next one is our copier. We used to have a printing line item, so if you're looking at the budget, you'll see in the comparison section, there was one that said printing. We're doing in-house printing now because we have the copier, we own the copier, and we found it to be less expensive than sending it out.
Nice.
So that line item did increase because I put the money from printing into it because it was just much more efficient to do it that way. Our computer software, again, we run what is very similar. It's the same company as my senior center. It's my community center. And that requires paying the service fee. So you'd see that line item in everyone's. They do give us technical support, and I will say it's a fabulous company to work for.
Really?
It's never, I don't think we've had to wait more than an hour. And that was one time in a long time. I mean, that was a very long time. They usually call right back if they don't answer immediately. I've been very happy with their service when we needed to change stuff. They've been very, very, very receptive. So my hope is, and I know we talked about that in our extension of services, because it's the same basic setup as my senior center, is that we could have scanners around the entire building, so you wouldn't have to just wait at the COA to check in or wait at the front desk. It could be by all of the doors.
That'd be great.
You could have your card, whether it's your council on aging card or your weight room card. We could have a community center card. I just would like to make it more user friendly, and that software gives phenomenal data for us to report
Track,
what we're
yeah,
doing
right
and who we're helping, and so those are some of the things that we're looking for. So that's the computer software. So under the other purchase services, that's things like our trash removal. There are that is where some of our inspections will be for our fire extinguishers that get serviced twice a year. The things like that will be in that line item, and they are broken down, and I can give you a full list of everything that we pay for. So office supplies, very self-explanatory. It's paper, pens, paper clips, tape, and again, it's a pretty small increase, but a necessary one, and mostly because we're doing more. Quite frankly, we're just, the expectation is that we'll do more, and that costs a little bit more money, but it's a sound investment, in my opinion. Office equipment stays the same, and that is replacement of tables or chairs or things like that. We use them on a very regular basis. I keep a replacement schedule, so when things are at the end of their useful life, we do replace them. Our 6-foot tables get used and set up and broken down. Card tables have become a huge thing in this building because so many different groups are using them, and trying to get some chairs. Some of them are 23 years old, and we can't expect a lot more out of them. So it's all about the safety. So that's what that line of item is. Other maintenance and repairs, I take care of anything that goes wrong with the refrigerators in the kitchen, and if something goes wrong with any of the internal operations of the building. So that's where you'll find that. Highways and maintenance does maintain the majority of the maintenance budget. But things that are internal, that are specific to our building, is not in Sean's purview. For instance, a lot of the kitchen equipment is where we use that money, because that's not something that he wants to do or should be doing. He's a facilities manager, not a kitchen operation person. And the groundskeeping is really exactly what it says. We're trying to maintain the outside of this building. We are not, they do mow our grass, the highways department, but we take care of everything else outside, so all the roses and the gardens and everything. And we have been so fortunate to have volunteers helping us. Our volunteer, who has been with us for several years, almost 8, I believe, has just retired. So we have put out the word and asked in our newsletter to get more help, but we'll see a significant decrease in what's happening outside, just to get people up to date. And it's a lot of
work.
a lot.
But it's beautiful out there. I mean, they have done a great job.
They do a good job, but so that's what that is for. We buy mulch, we buy anything that you needed out of that line item. It doesn't pay for an employee or anything. It's strictly to maintain the grounds.
Right.
So
So there's no personal services in that, it's just equipment and
exactly.
materials.
That's bare bones for a building this size. So. And the last one is programming, and it increased not enough in my opinion, but we are increasing. Reagan has come on, and as you all know, it was hard to be doing my job and trying to program too, so we have someone.
She's done a wonderful job, I must say.
Absolutely, and so we need to support that and give her more money so that we can do more programming. And I will say, it is not an excessive budget at all. We do a lot of free programming, but things cost us to bring in, whether it's the magician or it's the mad scientist. We pay nominal fees, but we still have to pay the performers. We do a lot of things on our own, whether it's a creative make your own sweater contest. We do a lot of movie nights, and but in order to do what I believe the town deserves and is looking for, we need to fund that budget. So that should give you a little overview.
Very nice.
And because I am me, I have it in every kind of graph you could possibly want, because I am a visual learner, but I don't know how you all, so I wrote it out. I have put it side by side. We have bar graphs, we have pie charts. I know it's excessive, and I apologize, but I wanted you to be able to see it. This is the draft form. The budgets are due this afternoon, so I would be willing to take any information that you have. It is preloaded, and all I have to do is make the necessary changes, but I really wanted to make sure I had your input, or if you had questions, or if you saw something that you think is lacking. I did, as we had talked about before, have also the extension of services that we had talked about, more security in the building, getting some furniture for the lobbies, cameras, the monitors set up outside, changing the blinds. It should be in your packet to the list of everything that we put about. So
you alone are responsible for the additional copy costs.
that's right.
For everybody.
I'm happy to not print them, but I do know some people asked for them.
Yeah,
So.
very good.
I know.
I do not mean that as a criticism.
So so that's where we are with the budget, and I would turn it back to the chair if there were any questions I could answer.
Any questions for Carol?
No, thank you.
No? Well done. Okay.
Excellent, then we'll move forward, and as we get closer, I'm going to keep you involved as much as possible, because I do believe this year we will have, I don't believe it's going to be contentious, but because we didn't increase the heat and lights, which I know we needed to, again, I don't want people to think I didn't know how to do it. That's what we were told to do, but we will fight for that because we need to keep the building open.
Yeah.
So,
That makes
thank
sense.
you, I
That makes
appreciate it.
sense. Okay. All right, so now we're on to the third one there, the year-end report. Did you want to say anything on the year-end report before we move on? Or-
Yes, what I wanted to say is I've written the report for 23 years and Reagan wrote it this year, so I will turn it over.
I apologize for the lack of graph. I don't think I put any graphs in.
I put graphs in everything, everywhere, every how,
And
and
they're very handy to have.
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
so certainly I turn it over if you have questions for Reagan. We just, the report is due in January, but as you all know, the sooner we get things
Yeah.
done, I
Yeah,
feel
that's
better,
true,
and nothing's changing from now to then. We can anticipate what's happening. It's the same thing as we've done, but, so that draft report is ready if you have any changes.
Yeah, let me know. It's very self-explanatory, just updating on, on obviously the board and the changes that happened. Updating on, the passports that we do, putting numbers to how many people use the facilities, broken down by my senior center report, which we printed out. So the only thing that will change before we do send it out is the numbers will increase just because I only went through the end of November because that's when I wrote the report.
Yeah.
So those numbers will change a little bit. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm happy to add anything, take anything out. I got very detailed in what we did for programming because I do think it was very important to recognize that we did increase that this year.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to make any changes.
No, I think it's great, and I'm glad that you did spell out everything.
I
Appreciate it.
It's an impressive list to
Yeah.
look at when you see
All the things you've done, yeah.
and the small amount of money, even with the increase. It'll be interesting to see.
Definitely a team effort, and we did. Again, Carolyn said it, and I'll reiterate. We did try to offer as much free programming as we could, and put our heads together and try to do things minimal cost. And that was fine, but there is definitely a need for some additional things that we won't be able to pull together ourselves. But of course, we want to be able to offer as many free events to the community as possible because I recognize that families need that right now.
Definitely.
So we continue to try to do that.
Well, on the plus side, I just wanted to say, sometimes when I listen to my friends from other towns, they do say that Harwich has one of the best, the community center in terms of offerings. So that's a plus
That's great.
for all of you.
I pay your friends to say
Yeah,
that.
but thank you. But I do listen to what other people are doing, and I try to pay attention. So I just wanted to thank you,
Thank you.
as well as the Council on Aging too. It's an awful lot that's been off, and the friends. So thank you. Okay.
Before we leave that, I just
Yeah.
want to say one of the reasons that the report is also helpful to have is because when we go in for the increase in budgeting and everything is spelled out, I think it's very easy to see that we did not.
Yeah.
You weren't lazy.
We did not waste a
Right.
single cent. We can justify where every penny of the budget
Right.
went. And as I said, it's still not enough, but the directive was very clear about not increasing.
Just good.
So we made a small increase, but that's my important part about the report. Thank you.
I also just wanted to say, you've done a lot, but it's good for any of our townsfolk if they have any other suggestions or things that they could send it your way.
And I
Yeah.
have continuously put it out there in the newsletter. Please, we want to know what people want,
Yeah.
what the town wants, what programs, and we try to take that information and offer exactly what they're asking for. So the door's always open for advice. So now having the list of what and it broke it down for us too. Like, did we do more of this? We should have maybe equaled it out. So it's very helpful all around.
It is. Well done, well done. Okay, any questions for Reagan before we move on? Okay, back over, yeah, I'm sorry. All right, back over, thank you letter to Brian is,
The committee asked if there was a thank you letter sent, so I included the one that was sent from the selectmen, and then I sent a handwritten note as well, so from all of us.
thank you very much for doing
So I just wanted you to know it was done,
Yeah.
and
that. Thank you very much.
of course.
Okay, the next one is new business. And Carolyn, we're back to you again.
Well, the committee had asked that we wait until the new members were on, because you only currently have a chairperson, which is Angie, so they would be looking to have a vice chair and secretary. Is that so?
Who was doing the minutes before? I missed that.
We do the minutes
Yeah.
at the front desk. So the secretary is more making sure that if there's something that should be on the agenda, if there's something that I'm missing or lacking, or so I think that's what it is. I think we're happy to continue and help as much as we can with the minutes if that's the style you like. But if the secretary wants to take that on, I'm never going to say no.
Well, can we make suggestions if anyone would like the job as either vice chair or secretary? Can we do that today?
You can.
All right, is there anyone that's looking to go as vice chair?
No.
I'd be happy to do it if Ralph's on. I was gonna
All righty.
defer to Ralph with being the senior member, but
No.
happy to take that on if need be.
I'm just checking,
I'm
anybody else
willing
before?
to do the secretary as described, but not taking the minutes. Is that fair?
Works for
Maybe
us.
later.
I mean, at
Yeah.
some point, I take notes for it, and Channel 18 is very kind. Channel 8,
Yeah.
Oh my
Sorry.
God. The Harwich.
the
channel.
Harwich channel does do that, and so there might be times when my notes, I would need to refer to you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
Now, do we have to vote on that, or can
You
that?
should.
Okay, so, right now, we're looking, if we're in favor of, Heath as vice chair and Chris as secretary. If you're in favor, would you say aye?
Aye.
I,
Oh, so I should say a motion first.
I would move that they be
Yeah.
named
And a
as
second?
such.
Aye, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Definitely.
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 Congratulations on your new job.
We waited for you.
Yes, with all the
Yeah.
perks.
Glad you came aboard.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that.
I'm sure Van would have done an excellent job in either of those roles, but she's not gonna be around for a
Right.
few
A
meetings.
bit,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now we're on
Oh, the
to
charge.
committee charge review and edits. Carolyn,
So
did you
I
want me-
have included in your packet the charge, but it is in a memo that was from Larry Ballantyne to the select board.
And he, why him?
Larry Ballantyne used to be our
Our
liaison.
liaison.
So our new liaison is Michael McCaskill, who
Got it.
asked that we would take a look at the charge. So I did want to send it to you. I don't know if you've had enough time or if people want to make recommendations of what the charge is, but I also wanted you to see what has been done in the past. So that's why the memo and not just the charge came. So.
I think I'm surprised that it's become so long, the charges. Now, in the bylaws, or maybe it's the charter, I always get them mixed up. The facilities does have a lengthy description.
Oh, I should have printed that for you. I
Oh, no.
apologize.
Yeah,
And if you would like to look at that and have me print anything I can find, I'm happy to do that if that would make more
No, no.
sense for you all.
I was used to voter information, we had 2 sentences.
Now, I'm assuming the charter, or the charge was created probably when the building was first built.
I think it was actually created prior to the building being built,
Gotcha.
before it was actually opened. If I look at the charge, I think it says it was established in 1998, and the building had its opening in 2000, so.
Yeah.
Because it would seem like some of the responsibilities in here are really things that you do as the director.
I was hoping for a vacation, but if you think,
I just don't know if it makes sense to reword some of it, if this is
Absolutely.
open to being changed, if the select board's open to tweaking this.
sure,
Where it's, like I look at, like number 3, develop and submit to the town administrator, the budget. I mean, clearly you're developing the budget. I mean, it may be more of a, to review the budget prior to being submitted. And then,
And we wouldn't be submitting it,
right.
right?
Right. I'm sure, again, probably as your position was created, there probably was, this committee probably was responsible for that. And probably the same with the report. number 7 under the report, it probably makes sense for us to, review it, as we just did.
Right.
Okay.
And then same, I know number 5, you're doing that, you're at every select board meeting,
Yeah.
touting all the good works of the community center.
Well, actually, that is true. I do go to the meetings, but the board is also required once a year, I believe. So you might have to tweak that, but I
Okay.
do think
They want to
every-
hear from the committee itself.
yes,
I
because
got
I could be telling them anything.
you. So maybe that gets left alone then.
Yeah,
So
I will
that-
check the wording for you, but
So you put together as a department a report for the town annual report.
Yeah, that's the
That's
one we
the
just
one
looked
we
at,
just
but
looked at,
breaking
yes.
it.
And then the committee is charged to do the same?
no, I think
It
it
isn't?
was,
Okay.
I think it was the same report. It just used to fall before. In 1998, there was no
Yeah.
director.
Right.
1999, there was no director, so I think they were reporting really about the status of the building operation. And I only say that because I have researched the reports
Yeah.
that they wrote before.
So currently, this committee has no responsibility to submit a report for the annual report.
Correct, I do,
Okay.
So would it still be called a facilities committee report and not a,
Director's
just a,
report?
yeah,
we
facilities?
kind of put it under both Community Center Facilities Committee report, and I do usually sign all your names to it, so. Because I don't think we operate in a vacuum, you all know what's happening here, so.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Carolyn on that? Okay, we're good.
Well, what about 2, Keith?
Which one?
Number 2,
Yeah, it's
thinking along your
yeah,
same way?
kind of the same, like,
Because we're not developing,
right, I think we could be a good group to help assist develop policies. We need to, or to, review them, but I'm
'Cause-
sure when it
yeah.
comes to drawing them up,
because I think that's where,
maybe to,
Maybe
to, like, yeah,
an-
to assist the director
yeah,
with developing and reviewing.
because we don't want to get into that committee issue about
Right.
overstepping our
Right.
bounds.
It's funny, I think as I read through this, I'm trying to put myself in the place of when it was written, like you said,
Yeah.
before the building was created, and I'm sure that, one of the concerns at the time was, okay, we're gonna put all these different groups under the same building, we wanna make sure everyone's playing nice in the sandbox, and that's what this group was originally intended to do. And, I think that's continues to be the charge of the group, to make sure that if there's, everybody wants to use the gym on the same day, that there's some process or the ability to bounce that off of a group to say, how do we sort this out? So, I'm glad that we continue to be able to do that.
Absolutely. It was written BC, before Carolyn.
So I
like
think I got a little lost then. This was already rewritten?
No, it's
This is what exists now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So what-
I thought this was a draft
No,
of
this
the
is the
new
original.
charge.
No, this is
Oh,
the original.
Oh, yeah, I have more comments,
Oh, I love that, I love that.
but I won't have all of them right now, maybe.
You know
Yeah,
what, why
okay.
don't we do this, if this is okay with you? If people wanna just email me, and for your next meeting, I will put it in the template that the select board is using for
Yeah.
committees.
Great.
And then, we can make any changes, and maybe I'll get with our new secretary to see,
Yes.
if
Yeah.
I go.
See what you signed up for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this looks like we're in charge,
Right.
and I think we know a committee who's having a struggle with that same issue.
So, yes, so why don't we do that, if that's
We
okay,
can
if
do
you have
that.
any changes
That
or
works. That
comments or
Okay,
concerns?
good, so action item,
And when
huh?
would you like it back? I mean, is there a date that you
Oh,
want
yeah.
comments back to you?
How about tomorrow?
Okay,
No, honestly, if you want it for your next meeting, if I could
Next
have it.
meeting? Okay.
like maybe 3 or 4 days before?
Yeah, that would be terrific. Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right, this is good.
Okay.
All right, the
Good.
time, I'm sorry, do you have a question?
No, I'm just babbling.
Okay. Time and day for future meetings, we've changed it. We've always had Friday, but it's changed on different times. So, Carolyn, was there a reason?
Yes, I
it's
do
better?
think that there are some people who have conflicts on Friday or are actually still working, and we want to be able to represent everyone. So, seeing if there's a day and time that would work for everyone's schedule, that might not be in the morning time. I don't want it to interfere with any volleyball or
Right,
pickleball.
that's important.
That's right, so.
Men's breakfast.
So if we could take a look at what would
I'm
work
gonna
for
look at my
people
calendar.
Okay.
overall, and it might still be a Friday, it might be Friday at 3 o'clock once a month, I don't know, but I just don't wanna exclude people who are still working.
Did you want us to give you some days that are better for us or not now, or
Can
you
we do it
rather
right
send
now?
it?
Yeah, you can
That's
do
what
it
I'm
right
saying,
now,
okay.
absolutely. Do you all
Fridays are
still
better
like
for me. No,
Fridays still, is Fridays
Yeah.
work for people?
I like Fridays, preferably for me, like after 3 o'clock
Yeah.
is ideal, if that works for the rest of the group.
I'm fine.
I am too,
Fridays at one
3:30.
Friday a month at 3:30?
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
See how easy.
How does that work for staff? Well, I know, because I know I know, like you work late on Fridays, right? And
Yeah,
You're
if
here-
we
you-
do
you
events on
live here?
Fridays, it's not gonna be till later, so 3:30 is fine.
You live here, so,
Yeah.
no, but is that convenient for staff as well?
Sure, honestly, convenience is, that's kind of you to say, but really, we serve at the pleasure of the town, and so we are happy to be here when it's important. So
And that'll be the first Friday of the month?
I'm gonna be whatever Friday you tell me.
Or second, I'm
Yeah,
just wondering,
and
because I know
that's-
that you work,
Is today the
so.
first
Yeah, no,
Friday?
that's,
Today's the
today
first
happens to be
Friday.
the second, today's the
Today's the
second.
second.
Today's the
But-
second Friday, yeah.
But
It is.
first is fine, I mean,
No,
I don't,
no,
it doesn't
I
matter
was
to
just
me.
throwing it out there. Today is the second Friday. I mean,
Yep.
is that better for you? Because I know you've got a crazy schedule.
Yeah, no, which Friday of the month doesn't matter to me, so.
Doesn't
we wanna do
matter.
First or
All
second,
right.
it doesn't matter.
You want to keep it the second Friday in the month, stay consistent?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'll see you and remind you at men's breakfasts.
You what?
I'll remind you at the breakfast to
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah, there you go.
And obviously, if we see like,
3:30.
All right.
if we see a holiday or a conflict
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
future, we
yeah.
can tweak that particular month, but.
I'll just, all right.
So that would mean your next meeting
Mm-hmm.
would be January 12th,
Right.
the second Friday.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I was on board.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Okay,
Good work.
next, director's update.
Holy
And-
moly, that wasn't enough of me talking?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything here you?
I do have something for you. Sorry. So we did get a request, and has been my practice. I will bring you anyone who is a new organization looking to come into the building. This is a group who would like to meet on Tuesday evenings to provide a private class open to new students at the beginning of each class. They are a music group, and they are looking to come into the building.
Is this a nonprofit? Probably
It
not.
says it's a private class, and I think that's one of the misconceptions, although we do have it printed on our website and everywhere what a for-profit and a nonprofit,
Right.
and that you do, I understand that it's a little confusing to people because, if Chris is just running her 7 friends, are coming in to stitch, that's a little bit different than someone who's getting paid
Right.
to come into the building. That's more of a business, and you all know you can't run a business out of the community center.
Right.
So this is someplace skirting the line, and I wanted to bring it to you to say, I'm concerned when someone asks for a private group would pay. Certainly we do have some private groups when we have the space to put in here. I don't specifically have a private group that meets, it looks like every Tuesday they want to meet. So
That's
we
52
do,
times a year.
yes.
And do we know if what they're charging is above covering the cost of the room?
So when I asked, I specifically asked how much, and they said, yes, there is a fee. And I said, how much is that fee? So I do believe it is more, but they said they weren't sure what the fee was gonna be. It would be based on how much the room was. So I did ask, are you looking to cover the room? Because that is perfectly acceptable.
Sure, right,
And we
that's
can
what
do
I'm getting at.
services, like we have classes if you pick yoga.
Right.
A yoga class in this building will never cost you more than it would cost you. It will always be under the price of a person in the public.
Okay.
Because this is the service part of it. We are providing a service for you. So that instructor is going to have to come in much less.
Right, but in that situation, you're offering a yoga class to the public.
Right. And
Whereas
that's
this is a
private
private
group.
group.
This is a
Right.
private group, she's
So-
not opening it to,
Well,
And
it
it's-
says that it's open to new students, but it does say that it's a private class limited to its members.
And what kind of music is this? Dare I ask?
African percussion.
Oh, nice, getting very popular.
Very, yes.
Yeah.
But that would be my other question is, it's in the mornings on Tuesdays.
Not in the mornings and 6 to 8 p.m.
Gotcha.
Also on Tuesdays in this building is the town band. And I only mention that because it's hard to find enough distance.
Right, that's
so
what I'm
that they
wondering
don't-
about sound.
the sound,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So sometimes we can put them in this side of the building and close the double doors. But if we put them on the far side and there's someone right next to them, it can sometimes interfere. So I am happy. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I'm happy to do some more research and see what I can find out. Making sure that the individual knows that the private group is a for-profit group in the town's eyes. So
Right.
it's not. Yeah.
Any similarities to the ukulele group that comes, it seems like once every now and then?
So, excellent question. The ukulele group is sponsored by our Council on Aging. It is not a private group at all.
Got it.
It is meant for the public to come in and enjoy. So, it is not the same.
Is the person forwarding this a town resident?
We don't ask someone's address.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I never have.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd be looking for a little more info relative to like what are their. Again, is this a for-profit? Like, are they going to be making money off this? And again, if it's covering the cost of the room, even covering the cost of the room, plus if they have some minor expenses for the class, like that's one thing. But if if this is like you say, if you're running a business in essence and you're utilizing the space, like I don't know if we want to go down that road. Sounds like a great program.
Absolutely, and
it
it does say it's not for beginners. It did say it's limited to its class members, but then it says new students are welcome. So I wanted to bring it to you and say I feel like I can't
Yeah,
make a suggestion or a recommendation until I have more
Why don't we get the
information on it.
information,
But I
yeah.
wanted to make sure you were okay with me delving into.
Yeah.
yeah.
How
Carol,
soon do they want
is
to
it-
start?
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
They don't have a start date down.
Is this something that they could also go to the cultural center, 204?
I believe that they looked over there and there was not the space that they needed, but I'll confirm that with them. I did mention
And maybe
that
the
to them.
hours?
Maybe.
would they be looking like at the multi-purpose room? Are they looking for a bigger space, since you said the cultural center wasn't? appropriate?
No, I don't think they were looking because we're already booked since
Yeah.
the town band is in there. And I was clear that that room was already, so they were looking for an actual activity room.
Okay,
So.
all right, so why don't
Got
we
it.
check it out a little further and then make a decision.
Okay, I'll go into the rest of my report. Thank you for that. I'm gonna follow up with them. The building operation, I just wanted to bring to your attention because it has been a question that I get a lot, so I'm sure maybe you're hearing about it. The changes in the rooms in the building. So, stay with me and follow along because I hope I'm gonna do this right. We had conversations for several months about the importance of the weight room not having enough room, and it was not in compliance, and members of our community could not use the room because the equipment was so close together. So we needed to find additional space for that. After a lot of meetings with administration and the youth and recreation, and I'm saying this because the word was that it was done in a vacuum. I promise you there was no less than 9 meetings of which everyone was in attendance, and we did move the room, and it was moved, and then that it was moved into what was the old game room that has had to be moved. Now it has been moved back to what used to be activity room number 2. I feel like, see why I need diagrams? I need this. So the game room is back in the front of the building. The additional weight room is now in what was activity room number 2. So that has come offline. Across from the youth and recreation office, we have a temporary wall up. The maintenance department will be building a wall, and we're putting on a small additional room where people can meet to help accommodate some of our smaller groups. We have a lot of groups who have anywhere from 5 to 8 members. They don't need a large
Where is this again? I'm just trying to
It's
visualize.
right
I'm sorry.
across from the recreation
Okay.
Like where the vending
office.
machine.
Oh,
Where
okay.
the vending machines
Now,
used
now I
to
know where
be.
you are. Okay. Sorry, it was just me.
No, and there's been a lot of movement, but I bring it up in this meeting, one, because I think it's important that all of you know. I do know that we are on camera, so I wanted to make sure the public knew that nothing, I will say this wholeheartedly, was done with any malice or without anything.
Like consultation with your colleagues.
And the town administration, everyone knew it was not done in the middle of the night under the cloak of darkness, as has been said. I promise you none of that happened.
But everything's been corrected and worked out, so.
So it has, some members are concerned about the size of the room that we're in the weight room. I think that the fitness room, I should be calling it. I think I always try and make it out positive. I think the way that we look at that isn't it great that we are busting at the seam? Let's be, let's look at the positive. We are, if you built another building, we could fill it. So we're going to look at it as positive, but it's important to know the staff, or certainly myself, did not do anything that people did not know about. So.
Okay, well, I'm glad things are working out and trying to keep everybody happy.
I didn't say that.
Which is not easy. No, I understand that. Yeah, I know it's not easy.
So that's your building operations update as best I can bring it to you.
Okay.
It would seem like, feel free to lean on this group in the future with those things, because it seems like, looking at the charge, that's kind of what this was designed for, if there's.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't you worry.
And I'm just, right. And obviously, I'm the new member, so.
Not at all.
Not saying that wasn't done in the past. But.
No, but I think it's good, and, I know that we are here, but you all are in the building enough so that when you're walking around, if you see something that you think we should be looking at, or different spaces to use, or ways to utilize it, I lean on you for that. I also look to maybe that new room, which I know is small. That's kind of the theme right now, a lot of smaller spaces. But maybe that could have some comfortable furniture in there so that individuals could have more of a lounge after school and in between places, so that there's a place for people, young adults, to go. So I look at that too.
You're talking about that temporary
Spot, yeah.
I was just wondering, maybe in our wish list for future whatever, if there could possibly ever be like an addition onto the gym area where you could add the fitness rooms and all those kinds of things. And I was just wondering, because I know there's a lot of health and fitness grants and things that maybe we could look for the future. I'm saying, I know it can't be done now, but that would kind of solve some of the problems for a room for all this equipment and stuff and space. And
And just so you know, that was one of, I was not being facetious when I said it was no less than 9 meetings. Facilities management was there, and that was one of the ideas, and it was upwards of $2 million to add on. So those costs incur, and that was just the build out. That wasn't any operations to it or equipment in there or things like
Staffing.
that.
I'm just wondering, when I was in school, there was a teaching. We did have a grant called the Carol White Grant that, I don't know if it's still in existence, but schools, the sad thing is many of the schools used it. And Harwich, our administrators
did.
didn't let it, they, anyway, that's another story. But the other schools benefited tremendously.
Oh,
And
good.
the idea of the grant was to produce more exercise space and different kinds of things. And you had to work with not only the schools, but you had to work with your community center. And I'm saying, I thought it was a perfect setup, and they picked up the cost. And if Falmouth benefited, Mashpee, Barnstable, I've forgotten who else on Cape, but
I'll do some research and see
Yeah.
if I can find that or any other grants
Other
that might
grants,
be able
yeah.
to help us. Happy to.
I also think we'll get some information, it won't be soon, maybe next year, but from the local planning committee.
Sure.
So that survey, that, that might not be our priority.
right, I know.
It might be to build something,
Right.
excuse me, for some other group, I don't know. Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
And you
It all
have
makes
filled out
sense.
that survey, haven't you all?
I did, yeah. And I know that CPC money is always,
Oh, right,
you
yeah,
know, there's a lot of,
recreation,
a lot of different directions, but
Yeah.
that's, maybe a consideration too in the future.
Right.
yeah.
I just want to add something because I am here after hours, usually after rec has left for the night, and there isn't a lot of people over in that area of the building. And now with that fitness room kind of being over there, I think it's really, really important that the cameras go in there. I walk by frequently throughout the evening, especially if I'm going back and forth to do an event, but when it's after 5 o'clock and nobody's in that area of the building, there should be eyes. Whoever's at the front desk should be able to see what's going on in that room.
Well, I think for security purposes, anyway, it's based on the
100%.
culture of the country, what we're in.
Yeah, that
Security
and if someone
cameras
were
should be
to
everywhere.
fall,
Yeah,
Which
And-
has happened. We've had some
Right.
falls in that room
Yeah.
already. But yes, and that's not the only place that we need cameras in the building. I know people think I'm crazy, but it's just for the safety of everyone.
Everybody, yeah.
It makes sense,
Right.
and we want to make sure no one's has fallen or gotten hurt or needs assistance. So it just
True.
it has come in handy, and we have worked with the local police
Yeah.
who have needed it for other things. So. And I am researching grants for that too, because
Yeah.
there are some. I will say the police get the first priority. I don't understand why, but but I am looking to see if
Yeah.
there's any that we can
yeah,
jump on, and
it should be great.
so
And now, just so I have it clear in my brain, the way it works, so like the equipment had been moved into what's the game room,
What I call the pool room,
right?
yes, yeah.
yeah.
And then the game room equipment was moved into the
Activity
activity
room
room,
too.
right?
Correct.
But then it had to get moved back.
Correct.
Okay. So now that extra equipment is in activity room too, and
some of it had to get moved back into the original weight room, which
right,
all that space
right, because
that
that's
had been
right, because activity room
separated.
2 is smaller than
Correct.
than what was or what is now. What is the game room? Okay.
Correct.
And that's closer. That game room, so it's easier to have eyes on that.
It was
When you
in
can
glass
see it,
too.
you
We
can
could
see it from
right
the
in.
circulation
Right.
desk.
So-
I gotcha.
It was done honestly, pretty intentionally, so that it could be a safety. I don't think anyone thinks that that's not my top priority in the building.
course.
I just want to make sure everyone
yeah,
who's in, whether you are this big or an older adult, it doesn't matter. Everyone can have an accident, fall, get hurt. So
So I guess, you're talking about an addition, whatever. Is there, are there requests to use the fitness room that we can't fill? Membership that we can't accommodate?
absolutely. So
Okay.
the community center only allows the town of Harwich residents to use the
Right.
weight room. We
Yeah.
have people from other towns who come in all the time who would like to buy memberships,
Right.
but we don't have the space for them.
But Harwich people, are they accommodated, or do you have, you have to turn people away at the, I don't know how to
I don't think
describe
we've
it.
had to turn. I'm speaking for you right now, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But having been at the front desk when it's happened, we have not had to turn people away from the membership, but people have had to wait to use equipment in the rooms.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Not that I can't get the membership, I know I can,
Yes.
but.
Right.
And we do have like time limits, like you can't use
Right,
a machine
yep.
for more than 20 minutes. But there has been
Yeah.
Backups.
Yeah.
And there
because
are
of it.
On the
Also-
popular machines.
yeah.
And there also, when you said, can we not accommodate when the room was like it was, I can say honestly, we could not accommodate anyone who had any mobility issues
Yeah.
whatsoever. And those are some of the people that need it.
That need it,
So that was, I'm still concerned. I'm not as concerned because I am grateful for the additional space, but I think that we should be able to do more so that everyone is safe and can utilize, whether you're in with a walker or a wheelchair or you need assistance. This building really needs to be for everyone and every age, and that's where we were coming from, so.
Is this something that your department and the town wants to get on the capital outlay plan? Or are we premature talking about that?
About,
Oh, like an addition?
Yeah.
I have not, it is not on the capital outlay plan,
Yeah.
and I have not done the research for it either. I did have that conversation when we were looking at trying to find additional space, and would that make sense? So I do know it was over the $2 million mark, which is a scary number.
Yeah, nothing's cheap.
I think the concern is, from where I was sitting, is that we did have the space, and Carolyn and everybody she was meeting with that made the decision to move the rooms initially used the space that made sense. But when that didn't work out, and then it had to get moved back, so it's
It
kind
wasn't
of
moved back, we still have a second room there.
right. But the room that was initially
Used,
envisioned to be the new fitness space,
and that you did move equipment in,
correct?
right?
And then it got moved back. But to say
Moved back?
Yes.
That's what's confusing
so,
me,
the
Reagan.
game room was moved back.
Yeah, okay.
So the game room was
And the
moved back
fitness equipment was moved
to a
to
different
room 2.
Right,
Right.
correct.
Yeah,
So
okay.
when I
People
say
don't have
moved back,
eyes on
right.
it.
So
And is smaller.
I guess it wasn't an issue, correct me if I'm wrong, that we didn't have the space. Like, we have the space, we just weren't able to use it to accommodate the building's needs. Does that make sense?
No, I don't understand what that means. It's okay, if I'm the only one. You
I guess
mean
it-
you
I guess-
had
I
I'm
guess-
happy to-
other meetings that couldn't be booked? Is that what you mean? Use the space that couldn't be, I didn't understand.
I guess the question would be, do we know why that we had to move the game room back into that space? Is that what you're asking?
No.
Oh.
But everything is back to where it was, right?
No.
No.
No?
Room 2 was
We
taken
have a
up.
second
Right.
fitness room.
Right,
Oh, really?
We used to
Okay.
have 2, a little tiny one, way
Right.
back.
Right.
Yeah, that's gone.
right, that's an
Go.
office.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, but it was I think the original idea had been to use where the game room, game room is now as the overflow fitness space.
Right.
Which it was briefly,
Yep,
and then,
and now it's in room 2,
right,
right.
so it's just not as much space, but still extra
The
space.
pool, the game room is larger than room 2?
Correct.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. That would have helped.
Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry.
Got it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, where do we leave off now? I'm sorry.
Newsletter.
Newsletter, here we go,
In your
yes.
packet is the newsletter, and it is chock full this month, so if you're watching us, please jump on to the community center website or stop in. It is here in the library and at the Chamber of Commerce, and it will list everything you need to know about what is happening in the month of December, which I can't believe we're already halfway
Frightening.
through. We're already looking at what's coming up in January, so, but I just include this in your packet in case you have any questions, because it does list all of the things that we are doing.
Is this the first year for an ugly sweater decorating workshop?
Yes, it is. Are you coming?
I am not.
Yes, so we're gonna make the sweaters and then we'll judge them and, prizes will be given. You're all welcome. It is for all ages, family friendly, come in, free. We'll provide some t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks, whatever we can that you might wanna decorate, and all of the pom-poms, bows, glitter, buttons, bells.
You should see my office right now.
It's gonna be a good time.
It's a good time. At least it's positive. Okay.
don't know, Reagan, if you wanna go through some of the events that, for the December, just
That
so
we're-
in case they're,
that we're going to do, yes. Just quickly recap, I know it just passed, but the Sound Dunes was this past Wednesday night. We have had over 100 people attend.
That's great.
People were dancing in the hallway. And I think Carolyn might have sang, but I missed it, so.
well, you have to be there to sing.
Last night we had a craft night hosted by Hammer and Stain. Hammer and Stain Cape Cod is out of Sandwich, but they came with all of the craft equipment that we needed, and we had 21 people here to do crafts. They made 3 ornaments each for $15. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that was great. Friday we have Monday we have Grab a Bow.
Oh, I like that one.
So that'll be starting at 6 a.m., correct? Is
Yeah.
that gonna start first thing in the morning? Or 8?
I believe it starts at 8,
8.
but the fly is right here.
8.
Yes,
Okay. My apologies. Starts at
that's
8.
okay.
So that's happening on Monday. We have the letters to Santa out in the lobby right now. That'll be wrapping up next week. So if anybody wants to get their letters to Santa and get a reply back, they can still do that this weekend. The ugly sweater decorating contest, which
Ralph is coming to.
Ralph is coming to, is happening next Friday. All ages, everybody is welcome to that. Bring your own sweater if you have one to decorate. If not, we will have limited supply. So we also, like she mentioned, we have socks and t-shirts. So you can wear
Whole
holiday-
ensemble.
December 21st, we're gonna do the solstice drumming, which they've done in the past. It's been a huge success. So that is happening. And then on the 22nd, getting closer to the holiday, we're doing elf movie night for all ages. And then the monthly Cape Cod Military Museum lecture will be happening also on the 22nd. I believe that one's at 2:30. So I think that's it.
Just a few others. There is a health fair that
Yes, the
we are
health
co-sponsoring with the woman who teaches our yoga class, and that is this Saturday here in the building. And you can come in and get some great information, and they'll be doing some little demos and stuff. So that's this
I
Saturday.
did post that on Facebook.
And on the 17th at 2:00 is the town band concert.
Oh, that's different. Isn't it usually at night?
They've been doing it in the afternoons for a little while
Ooh,
now.
I missed
So the town band, the 17th at 2 p.m.
That's a Saturday, correct?
That's a
Yeah.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Sorry,
Sunday.
that's a Sunday.
And then just
Oh,
if you're in the neighborhood, I did mention that Carrie Lottie, who has been with us for almost 8 years, will be leaving on December 14th. We invite you and the public to stop by, have a cup of coffee, wish her well, have a little breakfast, but that's open to
And where will
everyone.
it be in the?
It'll be right in
Right in
the,
the
right
lobby?
when you come in.
Okay.
You can't miss us.
Oh,
We will
okay.
be right there. So we have that coming up as well. And this does not have to do with us, but on the back of your newsletter, you will see, I'm just putting in a plug for the best Christmas pageant ever.
Oh, yeah.
We've been working with the theater company, and they'll be doing some classes here.
Great.
But we're trying to branch out and partner with a lot of different organizations, so this is one of them.
That's a great one.
So just give them a little plug. I have seen it, and there might be someone at the table who has a child in the performance, so if you get an opportunity, stop by and see it. There's a lot to do in the building and around town,
That's
so.
awesome.
Yeah, we do, coming up in January, we're gonna start meeting regularly with other departments that do programming so that we can start coordinating.
Like
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yep, I think they've done it in the past, so we're
Yeah.
just kind of
That's good.
restarting it.
A lot more to offer. And ideas pop up. That's great.
And I've popped into a few of the events this month and really impressed with the attendance, like the numbers of people that are showing up. You know, even kind of these dark, cold nights, and the wide array of
We
people.
had a
in
very
attendance.
popular bingo night last week.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was at.
very popular.
And you had kids from like 6, it was 6 to
I think
80
it was always
years
gonna
old.
be a
You know,
favorite.
there were,
It's always gonna be
Ever
a
since Holy
favorite.
Trinity stopped
Oh my God,
happening
there were
there.
churches, it was big time. Oh, but they made money big time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it wasn't for money.
Yeah, it was for fun.
We had gifts,
Prizes.
we
We can
had
give
lots
prizes out.
and lots of prizes.
Yeah.
But it was fun because
It's
it was a lot of different age groups.
That's a good thing.
So
Yeah.
it was fun. And I shout out to Kim who did the calling. Kim
yes,
Fernandez from the front desk.
All right, good.
She was amazing.
she was a hoot.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's
Who
awesome.
knew?
Okay, that was events. Anything else, building use, anything before we?
One thing before we go on, starting in January, on all of the correspondence, including your minutes and agendas, I hope, you're gonna start to see the new logo that we have come up with for the community center. So the logo is an acorn. We are on Oak Street,
Very
and the tagline is,
Oh, that's great.
do you want to tell them?
No, you tell them
Okay.
because I can't remember what we decided on.
Oh, from tiny acorns, mighty oaks grow.
That's right. We had a few.
So, and that feels very fitting because we want the littlest acorn or person in town to come, and I want them to grow with us till they are the mighty oak, and then I want them to bring their acorns back here, which is really what happens.
Very
So,
nice.
Reagan had somebody help who designed it. I was kind of all over the board with all of our ideas. We were doing trees, but everyone does trees. So we're going to try this, and I hope that it will catch on, and you'll see it on all of our things.
Nice.
And just a way to identify the community center.
It's great.
That's awesome.
So
Fresh branding.
fresh branding, that's right. We always need to keep things going. So
That's awesome. All right, and now we're over to other. Is there anything else? First of all, from Reagan and Carolyn?
not for me.
No, we
talked-
have like a lot of things in the works. Like she had mentioned, working with other groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the new year. We have a lot of fun things coming up.
Awesome.
So.
All right, and from our members, so you want to start off? Anything you'd like to add?
No, just thank you. Happy to be here and happy to continue to participate moving forward. And again, thank you for all the great work you're doing. Like I said, I mean, it's incredible to read through the newsletter and to see all the wonderful things that are going on here. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That just reminded me, you both know, when you join the committee, remember we did spotlights on each one of
yes,
you?
yes,
So we
yes.
should probably do them on our new members.
I do. I agree.
So we welcomed you in this letter. Now we'll give you an opportunity to write a little bit about yourself, and we'll put you in with your pictures. And it's important for the public to know, because then when they see you out, they can ask you questions. And Ralph did a wonderful job. Angie did phenomenal. Van did his.
Oh, the
so,
pressure's on.
So, and if you want to see any of them, you can look at our old newsletters. They're all listed. But we'll that would be great if we could
Yeah.
get you to write a little something about who you are and your ties to the town, or how you got here and what you do here now. So thank you. I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Ralph, did you want to add anything?
Nothing at all, thank you very much.
Chris?
Well, I'm thinking there's some events that Friends of the Harwich Council on Aging could maybe get some of the seniors to come to, provide the transportation. for
Oh, that's a
those.
lovely
That would be
idea.
nice.
So,
that would be great.
Check in with the drivers.
Terrific. That's a
Volunteer
great
drivers,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, we want everyone. So,
Yeah.
and they have been wonderful in helping us promote, especially things like the Sound Dune concerts.
Yeah.
It went out with some of the lunches, and so we appreciate. We'll do anything. You give me an idea, we'll get out there with
run
the
with it.
advertising. So
Nice.
whatever you think of, appreciate that thought.
All right.
We'll work on it.
Well, I want to thank everybody and wish everybody a happy holiday.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll definitely be participating in things. And our next meeting, just don't forget, is January 12th. So we'll be back.
Be there. Yep, thank you.
Thanks again, and thanks for joining the committee.
Yep.
It's a great addition.
You're kind.
Are you going to adjourn?
Oh, sorry,
And
I need to
move
adjourn.
I
Would
move to
anybody?
adjourn.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, have a